Guys, we are going to talk about another issue that people often ask me about on my stream. Will CBDC adoption or will CBDC starting really end crypto or hurt crypto? And the answer is no. And we're going to go over why, both in developed countries and undeveloped countries. Let's go with developed countries first. Why do most people buy crypto? You might be thinking, oh, it must be for utility and they're asking for use cases. No. As we discussed, utility and use cases, at least in the industrial sense, do not drive crypto price. And very few people actually buy them for that purpose. People buy crypto in developed countries as an investment. Now, the investment, as we've seen, does not actually depend on the company issuing the token. Many times, it's either speculation or third-party developers that actually drive the price of the token. As we've said, industrial utility partnerships do absolutely nothing to the price these days, and I doubt they'll ever really do that much to the price. It's the third-party developers that are developing DeFi, that are developing NFTs, and developing other things to use for the blockchain that drive the blockchain's demand and price. Hence why cryptos generally are not a security, because there is no common market or common enterprise with the people issuing the coin. So the thing is, in basically like the developed world, you already have a stable like money system for the most part. Think about the euro, the dollar, the British pound. Yes, there is inflation. But crypto like varies a lot more than actual fiat. And when you're talking about fiat inflation, you're talking about over years or decades. Whereas you're talking about crypto volatility, you are talking over hours and days. And stability definitely favors fiat, and especially over the longer term. So the thing is, like, people can go buy milk for $1 today. They can still go buy milk for $1 tomorrow. Your one coin can buy a carton of milk today, it could only buy a quarter of a carton of milk tomorrow. So people are much more likely to stick with fiat for buying things. But the main purpose of crypto for a lot of us is investment and trying to make money. You're not going to make any money holding fiat. It's not, if you buy $1 today, it's still going to be worth $1 tomorrow. Like in a couple of years, it's going to be worth like 96 cents. So there is no real chance of actually making money by holding fiat. And that's true with CBDCs because CBDCs are backed by fiat. So if you buy a CBDC today, you're not hoping it goes to the moon. And that's why I don't actually think stablecoins should actually be securities, because no one buys stablecoins with the intention of actually making money via stablecoins. There is no common enterprise. Stablecoins are mainly a holding solution for in crypto. They're not really a speculative asset that people trade. They might be like, something that helps DeFi and stuff, but that's just like another common utility function. And yes, DeFi is the main utility for crypto. So like, it might just be another common utility function in the process of making money, but you're not actually trying to make money via the stablecoin itself. So the thing is, like, even if stablecoins continue to dominate or come to dominate in the Western world, where basically in the developed world, it's not going to replace the use case of crypto for most people, because crypto is used for making money. Stablecoins are actually going to be used for transactions. I think like international remittance. I actually think money transfers domestically within countries are going to be taken care of via CBDCs. And like a common exchange rate, you can just swap one for another if you're doing like cross-border. And, with some of the smaller corridors, you will actually need some kind of middleman. But for the major corridors, you probably won't. But the thing is, like, CBDCs are made for a completely different purpose than crypto in the developed countries. Because once again, like crypto, you're speculating and you're trying to make money. CBDCs you're actually using for everyday transactions. The thing is, like, even though you can spend Bitcoin and you can spend other cryptos, people often don't spend those cryptos. You can buy Tesla like gear with Dogecoin, but no one actually spends Dogecoin to buy Tesla gear. They're either holding onto it for fun in the case of Doge, which isn't the same as most cryptos, or they're basically holding onto it as an investment to sell off at a higher price. And that's the majority of why people actually buy crypto in the developed world. So if you're looking for CBDCs to kill the investment in cryptos in the United States, in Europe, and in parts of like Asia, like Japan and Korea, that's really not going to happen. CBDCs will have absolutely zero effect on why people buy cryptos in the developed world. And Yeah, so you're not going to see any decrease because of CBDCs in investment crypto money, even if that's what the government officials hope. Now, let's talk about the developing world and why it really won't affect things there. See, the developing world would actually use cryptos for transactions because their money is not dependable, right? Because, like, inflation on their money can be hyper. And the thing is, yeah, crypto has volatility day to day, but Bitcoin's shown to grow 4-year cycle after 4-year cycle. So people might actually want to put their money there, or even they might want to take the risk of gambling, putting their money in Bitcoin for the short term because they know that their government money is going to inflate 20, 30% over the next 2 or 3 months. And that's a common occurrence for developing economies, especially economies that are actually in turmoil. For instance, look at the Russian ruble. You think American inflation is bad? The Russian ruble has actually lost like 30% of its value in the last year, and they're a major country. And other countries are going to be even worse. So because of that, I do actually think people in those countries do actually buy Bitcoin just for financial purposes instead that are not related to investing and to actually use because they trust Bitcoin more than their national currency. Now you might think, well, then CBDCs are going to take over. No, you're wrong. Why is that? Well, let's actually look at the reality. What are CBDCs backed by? CBDCs are actually backed by the fiat currency of said country. So if your fiat currency is really volatile and no one trusts in it, why would anyone trust your CBDC? You can say like they can just use a CBDC backed by the US dollar. All good and great. Where are they going to get the US dollars? Contrary to popular belief, the US dollar is in very high demand all over the world by merchants and just about everyone else. If you go to China or if you go to any other country and you offer them the Yankee dollar, the merchants, they will take it. Yes, the Chinese government's like, oh, we're trying to lessen reliance on US dollars, but Chinese businessmen want that US dollar. They want the US dollar a lot more than the Chinese yuan because they know it's more dependable. The Chinese governments are trying to peg the yuan to the dollar. And they were complaining a lot when US raised the interest rates because it makes the yuan less competitive. So the thing is like the main reason the Chinese government does not let the yuan trade on the open market is because it will be instantly devalued if they actually let it on the free market. Everyone's going to trade their yuan for dollars or yuan for euros. So that's why the Chinese government absolutely cannot allow that. It would crash their economy near immediately. The Chinese government actually prints a lot more money than the US government proportionally. And everyone kind of knows that. So I think Chinese money would go under hyperinflation if they actually let it trade on the free market, which is why they don't. So because of that reason, not just because of China, but like even worse in the smaller countries, they don't trust their fiat currency. There's no hell way they're going to trust a CBDC. So even if you allow it, they will continue using Bitcoin and crypto. And that's why some of those smaller countries might want to ban crypto because it would actually prohibit them getting control over their populace with a CBDC. So like right now you can see like both of the reasons why either in developing countries or in developed countries, the CBDCs will just not replace crypto. Therefore, they're for two entirely different reasons. But neither of those places are going to get rid of crypto just with the introduction of CBDCs. CBDCs are probably going to be way more successful in developed countries where people actually trust their currency. But it's going to be used as a means of transaction rather than an investment case. And since like 95, 98% of crypto use is the investment case, and maybe like the long-term hold case, CBDCs will generally not affect that use case at all. So that's why the whole thing with CBDCs destroying and eating crypto makes no sense. People are just not logically and critically thinking about what CBDCs are going to be used for versus what crypto is generally used for. If they actually thought about it, they would deduce the same conclusion that I just did, because I've thought about this actually a lot. Like, oh, they're digital, the government issues them, people would actually trust them. Would they actually be a threat to crypto? But after you think about like why in the Western world people actually buy cryptos as opposed to what they would use CBDCs for, you would quickly come up with the conclusion that CBDCs in the United States, in the EU, and in developed countries are not a threat to crypto because people are hoping to get rich off of crypto and they will not get rich off of CBDCs. And that's pretty much a guaranteed fact. You would also come to the conclusion that for smaller countries and less stable countries, that CBDCs are actually based on their fiat currency. And because CBDCs are actually based on their fiat currency, they don't trust their fiat currency, so they would trust CBDCs even less. It's basically a crappy fiat currency that lets the government have surveillance on you. So no one's actually going to go for that. And if the governments try to enforce it, I do think they will fail and there will be some kind of revolution. They might try to ban it, but people would just go with DEXs in that kind of situation. So the thing is, like with all these pundits, especially the Wall Street guys saying that CBDCs will absolutely destroy crypto, they're trying to fool you into selling your crypto. Because in the back of their head, these Wall Street guys are not dumb. They're smart. They're trying to tank crypto by making you sell your crypto because they know that CBDCs actually will have zero effect on the crypto market. And once it's revealed, the crypto market is going to grow even more because there seems to be like an ongoing sense of dread that CBDCs are somehow going to finish off crypto. And that, my friends, is just absolutely 100% not true in this world. No scenario, I don't think, where that actually happens. So that's the news for today. Like and subscribe, hit that bell notifications button, and I will be back later.